Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey.
April 30th, we traveled to Louisville, Kentucky, which is right before Derby weekend, to attend the Kentucky Bourbon Festival's Distillers Dinner. We did this last year, and if you belong to the mailing list for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, you probably got the email talking about it. We had such a great time last year and met so many wonderful people that we thought about doing it this year, but then changed our mind and thought, well, we had so many things going on this month that maybe we didn't need to travel to Louisville again. But then someone we met last year, Brian Miller, sent us an email and said, hey, I got a table holding 2 seats for you all. So naturally, we thought we just can't turn it down. We've got to go to the Distillers Dinner. So if you don't know what that is, the Kentucky Bourbon Festival selects one of the distillers that's coming to the festival to basically host this event in Louisville, Kentucky. It's at the Levee Bar and Bourbon Lounge, which is right on the Ohio River. It's absolutely gorgeous location. And it's Derby week, so one of the fun things about that is a lot of people guys are wearing wild suits and the women are wearing floral dresses and big hats, and it just makes it a lot of fun. And it's the same night as the steamboat race, which comes right by the balcony where the event is. So we were all excited, and we knew that Angel's Envy was going to be the sponsor that evening, and that Owen Martin, the Master Distiller, was going to be there. So we got in our car and drove to Louisville, and there you go.
3 hours, of course, that's because we also have to catch up an hour heading out to the east.
Time change loss.
We got to our hotel, checked in, kicked back for a little while, went over to the event, got in line about maybe 10 till 5, saw Stacy Pritchard, who finally opened up the door, allowed us in, walked upstairs. We ended up getting a cocktail.
It was called a Peach Smash.
Peach Smash.
Made with Angel's Envy, and it had this fun little piece of candy with an awesome garnish spike on there. It was very cool.
If you drank too many, you'd get peach smashed. So we got our drink, walked outside. There was 3 or 4 little tables that were outside, grabbed one. And then our group, Brian and his friends, showed up, and we sat around, we talked with them, and we had, what was it? Who else do you remember talking?
Well, we had the group there. A few people we'd seen from last year were there. And then we also, Mark Rucker was there.
Mark Rucker, yeah.
Who we know, he's Bourbon Life and also a master of bourbon. He and his wife Anita were there, so we chatted with them a while. Steve Coombs was there, saw him and talked to him. And it was just great, because the first part was just really all about mingling, hang outside, and they were passing hors d'oeuvres. What was your favorite hors d'oeuvre of the night?
Oh, it was the quail legs.
Oh yeah, they had a lemon kind of.
Lemon. There was nothing like a bunch of little quail eggs, or quail legs, excuse me. I could have probably eaten about 50. The trays were going by, and they had something at a chip.
Yeah, it was like a tortilla chip, and I know it had something balsamic in it, and there was some nut-like thing, and also something gooey. It was tasty. It had all kinds of layers, and I love layers. So I enjoyed that a lot. I did have a quail leg. They also had a shrimp thing. I didn't try that.
It was almost like shrimp on a Triscuit. There was some sort of that's what it kind of looked like, and almost tasted like. It was okay. My favorite thing was the quail leg. I could have just, like I said, they could just kept putting the plate in front of me all night, and I would have just eaten to my heart's content. So finally, after, I don't know, about 30 or 40 minutes, I guess, outside, and they finally allowed us to get in and sit at our tables, and we ended up pretty good position to go ahead and have stuff introduced and have the chef come out and talk about the different things that were going to be served.
Oh, one more thing that happened on the patio.
What was the one more thing that happened on the patio?
So we're standing there just minding our own business, and Owen Martin walked up to us. And I was kind of surprised. He's the distiller, and he said that he had watched our review of the Triple Oak and was very appreciative of that. And we had mentioned in the review that we were going to be there that night. And Wayne had mentioned that it was my birthday, and that we talked about we hadn't tried the cask strength. So all of a sudden he pulls out of his pocket this little bottle that said, "Happy birthday." He goes, "I want you to try the cask strength." So he watched us, which was we were so honored to know that. And then he was so thoughtful to bring a flask of the cask strength for us to try. And we look forward to doing that pretty soon.
That'll be a good tasting, and it was really touching. We ended up taking a couple pictures with him later One, I mean, I was really flattered that he even watched us. We do this and you don't know who's watching. You really don't. It was one of the better memories that we've had since we've been doing this.
It was really fun. And so I just didn't want to forget that piece as we sat down, because I'm thinking about sitting down at the table and all the Angel's Envy's glasses. There were 4 pours there, weren't there?
Yeah.
4 pours. They had the bottle and bond, the triple oak. They had a private select, which is part of the single barrel that is going to be sold at the Bourbon Festival in September. And then they also had the cask strength. Yeah, so then it was really nice. And as Wayne said, the chef came out and talked about all the different courses we were going to have. And then Owen got up and talked about the different expressions that he had brought for us to taste for Angel's Envy. And there was even like a little pin we got that was really cool. It had like the Derby roses on it. That was nice. And the table was just gorgeous. Everything was set up beautifully. And then we started the salad was pretty amazing. It had brie cheese. I don't think I've ever had brie cheese on a salad before.
I haven't. I usually don't use a knife with salad. I tend to like be able to open my gigantic mouth and throw it in there, but I couldn't do it with this. So I ended up actually cutting up salad. It was very tasty.
It was terrific. I mean, I love the salad. The dressing was great. I think it had little apricots on it too. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was doing a tasting because I was getting, notes of apricot and brie and this and that. It was pretty fun. And then the main course was crazy good. Crazy good. It was beef short rib, and it was so amazingly tender and rich. I mean, you can just see it in that picture. I know you're looking at one now, and it was just huge. This huge short rib, and what looks like it might be mashed potatoes there was actually grits, and they were kind of spicy grits. It was really good with this au jus on it. And the thing that cracked me up was he doesn't normally eat eggplant at all, and he was digging. It was pickled eggplant.
I've never had it. I've had better stuff, but it was really interesting. It was very tasty. Probably the first time in my life that I've ever eaten eggplant and enjoyed it. And there was something else that was pickled that was in there as well.
It was fennel.
Fennel. Yeah. The fennel was
So again, notes you would get in a bourbon, right? The fennel, if you're getting some licorice notes, it was just fascinating.
Well, the fennel, that was the first thing I actually put my fork into and threw in my mouth, and it was good. I was like hot diggity. It was fantastic. It
was great. And then the dessert they brought out in honor of the Derby, it was Derby pie, but it wasn't a Derby pie. The chef wanted to do a different spin on it, and so it was based on a blonde brownie, and then had all the layers of that. And they brought a cocktail out that was very complimentary. It was interesting because the cocktail without the pie was almost too sweet, but together, because of that blonde brownie had some neutral notes to it, they really went together well. But it was very rich. It was very rich for sure.
My favorite memory of the Derby pie, if you want to call it that, was not even eating it. It was one of the guys at our table, Brian's friend Wendell.
Yeah.
He ended up asking for a to-go container, and they actually ran around and found him one so he could take his pie home. He didn't feel like eating the pie at that moment.
It's so fun. We've been to 100 dinners and we've never asked for a to-go plate. And now I will.
I joked about it, thinking like, we should get a couple extra plates and get a to-go plate, take it. And he does it. It was funny. He's a great guy.
Yeah, so it kind of wound up, we started winding down at that point and people were dispersing. But we had other plans. We went down to the river where you kind of walk down the hill, and you and Brian drug some chairs down there.
That was really miserable.
But it was nice. I mean, the weather was supposed to be raining, and it had turned gorgeous, and it was a beautiful sunset, and we had some lovely cigars. There were 6 of us down there enjoying chatter and cigars, and one of the steamboats went by with all of its lights on and everything as the sun was setting. It was just absolutely fantastic. And the bar next door to the one we had been in had a musician outside playing a guitar, so we were serenaded as well. What more can you ask for in a gorgeous night? And it was just amazing. I had a great time. It was a great way to celebrate my birthday.
I'm glad she enjoyed it, because it's very important to keep the wife happy.
So we had decided, all of our other friends had decided to drive back home that night. So we had already gotten a hotel because last year we didn't, and we felt like it would have been a wise thing to do. So we didn't really have plans for Thursday because it was supposed to be pouring down rain. And while you've seen some of our videos, we've done a lot of tours in the rain. Since we've done so many experiences, we just choose today not to do them in the rain.
Yeah.
But we wake up and the sun was shining. I was like, I am so blessed today. The sun is shining. So I said, let's go to Bardstown. And you said, okay. So we hightailed it really early in the morning down to Bardstown and ate at Mammy's Cafe for breakfast. But we had our breakfast, and our goal was to get to Maker's Mark just as they were opening. You know, that's about a 30-minute drive from Bardstown. Oh my gosh, it was just so beautiful. Because the last time we were at Maker's Mark at Christmas time, it was raining.
It was raining as well.
Yeah, so that day the sun was shining and it was just beautiful weather. You didn't need a coat or anything. And walking around and just enjoying the grounds and taking some photos. And I did something I've never done. I've taken a couple of pictures before, but I decided I wanted to take a picture of every horse on the property in honor of the Derby. So I really loved assembling this whole set of their horse photos. I think I got them all. And then we walked into the gift shop. I was hoping the wheat whiskey was out because it was May 1st, but the lady said we haven't seen it yet. So I guess we might have been a day early or something, but they had the keepers.
They did.
Which I was very excited about. We've been wanting to get the keepers release, and we will review that pretty soon. And the other thing they had was their private select for the day was chocolate whoopie pie. And that just sounded really yummy to me. So,
whoopie!
I mean, it's got chocolate and graham cracker and marshmallow. That sounds like a bourbon I might enjoy for dessert. So then we walked some more and took more pictures and some video. And we did see Whiskey Jean, their cat, was in the gift shop area. Was in the lobby when we first got there. So then we decided we had such good luck getting the keepers released that, heck, why not? Let's go to Lux Row, because 5 days before they had released Blood Oath, and I felt like we were on a lucky streak. Let's go see if we can go to Lux Row and maybe they have that. And if not, I thought, well, they're a sister company of Penelope, and we like Penelope, as you can see. So we thought, well, sometimes they have a good Penelope release there. So we're just going to stop in Lux Row. We'd have to go by there anyway. And were we lucky?
Well, we walked inside and there was a big group waiting for a tour. And I looked over on the wall and I saw these wooden boxes, and I didn't want to say anything because, if you don't ever, if you see something you want to buy or you're there for, you don't make a major announcement that that's it.
He had gone to the restroom, and so I went up to the bar and asked if I could just do a taste, not a pour. And he said, is this going to help you decide if you want to buy one? I said, well, we're pretty much going to buy one because we wanted to review it. But if I really like it, I might want to buy two. So he poured probably a half-ounce pour, so we got to have a sample. I don't know if you know, but this year's Blood Oath Pack 11 is finished in tequila añejo barrels. It's pretty good. We have already recorded the tasting, so it'll be coming up pretty soon. You'll be seeing that. It might even be next week. I have to remember. But it is very, very tasty. We enjoyed it a lot. So we got our bottles there, and we did get an extra bottle of Penelope. They had a rosé cask single barrel, and we've always enjoyed their rosé cask. And this single barrel was made specifically for Lux Row. It even has the Lux Rosé on it, a special label. So I thought that'd be a kind of fun thing to add to our Penelope collection. So we were going to end it there, but I kind of grinned and said, we should just stop by Heaven Hill. And he's like, we never had good luck there.
I just, I like their stuff, but it's like, so we ended up going over there.
Yeah, and because my reasoning was, I love their food stuff. That sounds really crazy. And I know I mentioned before we talked about doing a tour there, but I really love, they have Elijah Craig and Evan Williams, like sauces and jams, and their cooking. I used it on burgers the other night. I don't know if you noticed that, but they had a smoked paprika. I know that sounds crazy. You go to a distillery and I'm buying smoked paprika. So it was smoked over charred bourbon barrels. That's how it was smoked. So I'm like, I got to have some of this. And it was fantastic, by the way. I was looking around and trying to figure out which things I really wanted. They had a few things there. I mean, you could have gotten the Bernheim release was there. An older, like the C version of Larceny and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof was there, but we had those. So we thought we'd save those for other people. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see a lady walking out with an armload of stuff, and it was a little private select grenades, right, of Elijah Craig. And they were putting them out, and they're little bitty things, and they're a great price point at $29.99. And it's always one per person. This guy starts, as Wayne was saying, starts screaming, "Hey, get over here!" And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna reach right now and get my one little grenade and try to get Wayne's attention so he can go get a grenade. And the guys were picking. They thought they were going to buy 5, and they found out pretty quickly they could only buy 1, which was pretty funny. But we had our 1 each, and then we got in line with all my other goods that I bought. So many different things, but it was great because we had that option too when we were there with the Scotchy boys in the fall.
We did, and the reason why I'm shaking my head is this. As I said previous with Lux Row, when we went there and I saw what we were looking for and I didn't say anything and I walked into the bathroom and I came out. If you see something you really want, don't put on a presentation. I mean, when these guys started yelling, I had my back to them and I turned around and I thought Connor O'Driscoll was there. I thought one of the owners was there.
Or they brought out the 19-year-old wheat whiskey or something.
No, I wasn't even thinking that.
I was like, what are they yelling
I wasn't thinking that. I
they were yelling.
I thought something important had walked in the room. And I turn around and it's like, what are they talking about? And we have the grenades. We have a couple. So I look and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, we ended up getting 2. And
because they're so tiny, you don't want to. You pretty much open them, you're going to drink one.
Yeah. And the night before,
yeah,
the group that we were with, Connie, who, if you're watching, hi.
She lives in Georgia. She comes up for this event every year.
Georgia, and we found out that she's a huge fan of JTS Brown. Now, we've never tried it. I have seen it on the shelf. We have somebody that we know mutually that asked us about this, and it's like,
we haven't tried it.
And so she was so excited about the trip. She went to
the 100 proof one specifically.
The 100 proof. Mm-hmm. She ended up going to, I forget, it was Total Wine
and they were sold out.
And they were sold out. And she went to, was it Party City? Went to another place. Evergreen, excuse me, Evergreen. She bought 3 1.75 milliliter bottles. And I think she bought a 750. We saw a bottle of it there, and we went ahead and grabbed that as well to try it.
And it is a bottle and bond. We figured out they have 5 bottle and bonds at Heaven Hill. They're the bottle and bond kings.
Anyway, and we might review it in the future. I will just say this: we did try it, and I was extremely impressed. It was
very smooth
for a bottom shelf bourbon. But I don't want to digress. Anyway, so we got in line, paid for our stuff, and that pretty much was kind of the end of the day other than driving back.
Yeah, then we had about a 2.5-hour drive back in the pouring down rain. But so I was just grateful, even though I had to drive in the rain, I was grateful that we had sunshine and enough to go to 3 distilleries, which we had not planned to do, that we were able to pick up something we wanted at each one of them. And I just felt really fortunate and blessed to have, wrap up our trip in such a positive way. And it made the rain a little bit better for driving home. As you know, if you're coming home from a trip, it's kind of sad anyway, but then if it's raining, it makes it a little depressing sometimes. But we were trying to reflect on how great that we were gone 25.5 hours. I calculated it. That's all we were gone, and we did all that. So that's how you live life to its fullest and really enjoy things and just take every moment for what it's worth is kind of my motto. So that's all. We just really wanted to share that with you and encourage you that when you get that email next year from the Kentucky Bourbon Festival talking about a distiller dinner in April or the first week of May, that's always right before the Derby, consider going because it's a really fabulous event. I think the tickets were $150 a plate, which is pretty good when you talk about all you're getting. We've gone to some dinners at other distilleries that are much more expensive than that, and it's just really a fantastic night.
It was. Really enjoyed it.
Great job to all those in charge.
So thank you for watching and for your time. If you like what you've heard, please hit that subscribe button. Always remember to drink responsibly, even though we're not drinking right now. You have a great day.
Cheers.
Cheers.